We got
Good evening, man. I'm doing my best to share right now. We're gonna get started in just a minute. Give me 2 minutes. Give me 2 minutes.
sir.
While y'all watching,
Take you 2 minutes to
say, go ahead and throw us a reaction.
Yeah, right.
There we go. All right. So, man, I'm so fired up. I'm so excited. There we go. It's on the timeline.
Boom,
I'm gonna
boom.
just minimize that. I can see you, beautiful people. Welcome, welcome, welcome. How everybody feeling tonight?
Excellent.
Got excellent?
I'm feeling good enough for all 4 of us.
Oh, all right. Last week it was unbelievable.
Yeah.
Rock
Like
with that.
2 weeks ago, 2 days ago, you was like,
Call them out.
You right? But I told you I was gonna push through though, didn't I?
Yeah.
you did. You gotta
Absolutely.
stop the roller coaster, stay even keel.
Absolutely.
All right. Awesome, man. So, man, I just want to welcome everybody who's here. Would y'all just quick introduction to you? So actually, before we get started, let me let everybody know what this is. If you look in the comments in the chat, this is the See It Mastermind group. We're in episode 2 of the new podcast called Our Story, Our Journey, Our Way. I'm one of your co-hosts, Bakar Bey, and kicking it here with, let's go, Mr.
We can't tell what you're pointing at.
All right, well, I thought that was him. Let's go, youngest to oldest. Introduce yourselves.
All right.
I guess that means I'm gonna be last.
Oh yeah, say the best.
All right. Mensah Bey, visual artist, team member of this. What else y'all want from me? Master of Fine Arts. I got all these things out here in Norfolk, Virginia, safely.
I see you. All right. And then again, Bakar Bey, one of the older brothers to Mensah, and engineer, master of systems, as well as a financial professional, and now pro trader as well. On to you, Mrs.
Yes, I ain't married.
Miss.
Majeeda Bey, older sister to Bakar and Mensah, middle child of 5, mother of 2, and I'm a civil engineer by degree, a project manager by profession, and a financial professional as well. And I'm also all about building and leaving my daughters stacks of money. So,
All right.
Yes, what I'm all about.
Yes, ma'am.
And knowing what to do with it is the caveat, right? We're gonna leave the money, but they gotta know what to do with it. So,
all right.
And I am Maurice Bey. I'm gonna keep mine real simple. I am a truck driver who is knee deep into online marketing. That's my thing.
All right. Excellent, excellent. Well, tonight, man, we've got a powerful lineup for you. For those who don't know us, go back and check out episode 1. You know, get a chance to get to know us, like our page, share. We'll have put all the links in there for you later on. But hey, welcome to the conversation, man. We're just happy to have you here. And tonight, like I said, I've got 3 people here who can all drop the mic. All drop the mic with the conversation. So you are in for rich, full, honest, real conversation. You know, we do this late after the kids sleep. So in our, you know, we don't curse, but we're gonna talk, we're gonna speak real. We're gonna speak real. And so strap in. Like, we're gonna continue telling our story, our journey, our way. And tonight, we want to talk about being authentically you. And right, finding out if you're being authentic and attracting people to your business. Or are you BSing? You being authentic and attracting people to yourselves as well. So just to do a quick recap, all right, we got Mensah, we got Majeeda, we got Maurice last week. We talked about associations, right? Y'all remember that conversation?
Absolutely.
Oh man, I just want to highlight a couple of things from last week. Mensah, you didn't check out the podcast? Check out the podcast.
I wasn't
All right.
Mensah got work to do.
Episode 1, right? Now, I'm so happy and grateful that you could be here too, man. Excited to just have you guys in the building. We talked about associations, and there were a couple of just really seminal moments that I took from that last week. You know, Majeeda, she was talking about sharing a common past with certain people, but maybe those people aren't going to always be the same people that are part of creating the best future for yourself, right? And we're all here together because we know that we want to be part of creating that better future. We also share a common past. Maurice talked about he wants to continue to surround himself with people who are constantly working on themselves. And I think we all have that in common here, right?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. All right. And last week, Maurice, he dropped the mic. I'm gonna call this we're gonna start our new segment, right? It's called Drop the Mic. All right. Maurice dropped a moment last week. We were talking about associations. Actually, Majeeda had a moment. First, she said, true wealth, or your only true wealth, relationships that you have, right? Something that was powerful. The only true wealth is relationships you have, right? So we want to talk about those relationships and who those people are. Authentically you, I know something that hit me that was powerful. But then Maurice came up, he followed it up, said, let other people keep seeing you get hit and keep getting back up, keep moving forward, right? Shared that as the anecdote, a Rocky story, said that that's the type of thing that's inspiring people. So I want y'all to know that all the people that you're looking to hear are the type of people who always gonna get up when they get knocked down. And we just want to talk about our journey, right? But that wasn't even the end, right? It got better from there, right? If you haven't checked it, go check it out on YouTube. I got a comment. You can just click on the link. It goes right to this drop the mic moment. He talks about 2 types of people, right? There's going to be 2 types of people in this room. We're going to find out who everybody is by the end of this podcast tonight. Y'all feel me? All right. 2 types of people. You got your thermostats, people who determine the temperature in the room. And I'm warming up right now. And you got your thermometers, right? The people who read the room, who read the temperature, but they always reacted to it. So I wanted to start the podcast tonight with a question, right? What do you think is most attractive about you? Keep it real. Anybody start. Majeeda, I want to start with you. What is most attractive about you?
So you got to give me a minute.
A minute?
Yeah. What's most attractive about me?
Yeah.
I mean, I would have to say my authenticity. Like, I've never felt like I had to be somebody else to achieve what I wanted to achieve. I never had to pretend. Like, what you see is what you get. Like, I'm not good at pretending. I don't have the energy to pretend. Like, I am what you see, So, that's what I would say is probably the best thing about me. Yeah, my authenticity.
I want to dig into that a little bit more, Majeeda. Can we dig?
Yeah.
All right. And I mean, I think you were the one who came up with the topic for this podcast, right? So that's why I wanted to come with you first. And I think your answer is spot on. You're solid with that. It's authenticity. What is it? What's authentic? What's so authentic about you? More than just not being able to pretend to be something else. What is it that helps you to be so authentic in who you are? Besides that shoulder shrug.
I'm comfortable in my own skin. I'm grateful that I had growing up. My father, essentially, who really instilled that sense of self-worth, Not to say that I didn't deal with self-confidence and self-esteem stuff, but it was never about my physical appearance. It was never about who I was purposed to be. And so over time, I got real comfortable. I got to know myself for one, and I got real comfortable just being me, and whoever like it, great. Whoever don't like it, great. But I am who I am, and I am who I'm meant to be. And I guess that's the way that I see it. I wasn't intended to be somebody else. I was never intended to look like somebody else, just like somebody else, walk in somebody else's shoes. Like, I'm walking the path that I'm intended to walk, and I'm learning lessons that I'm intended to learn, so that I can bring what I was purposed to bring to the world. So I just fully embrace that, you know, doing it my way, you know, like the song. I'm not gonna try to sing that because that is like.
Is that Usher or is that
no,
Usher?
No. I'm talking about like Frank Sinatra. I think, you know, I did it my way. Yeah, like I. Yeah.
For those that don't know, Frank Sinatra's did it my way. Yo, just took us back. That's before all of our time.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. I'm gonna jump over the youngest one. I want to come to Maurice real quick. Tell us a little bit, man. What do you think is most attractive about you?
My energy, my strength, and my authoritative demeanor.
Say more. Say more. Tell us a little bit about all of those.
Yeah, I mean, well, I think my energy, I've said before, I transfer energy easily. So, you know, whatever I'm thinking, whatever I'm feeling, I can easily transfer that. So if you know, like in building my business right now, one of the driving motives is just sincerely wanting to help people, right? And I think that a person detects that in me. I think they can hear it in when I speak. I think they can hear that. And I definitely think that is, I mean, when you speak about something being attractive, I mean, and one more thing too, I mean, I'm rather sexy. That's
hey, let's go.
That's attractive as well about me. But I mean,
let's go.
You know,
he married, y'all. He married.
You know, my energy is my energy is sincere, and my energy is high, and it is contagious. You know, I don't want to sound conceited, but that is me. I believe that, you know, my emotional strength, you know, I am an emotional person, but overall I'm a pretty strong person emotionally. You know what I mean? And I think that's also one of the things that's also attractive about me as well. I guess that kind of goes back to, you know, getting hit and getting back up, just getting hit and getting back up. You know, if you're emotionally, if you seem to be emotionally resilient and sure and secure in what direction you're going in, you know, most people are not really sure and secure about what direction they're going in. And so when they encounter somebody that seems to be sure about where they want to go, to me, that is most certainly attractive, and that is definitely one of the things that is in my personality. A lot of the times behind closed doors, I'm feeling like I don't know which way to go, but I don't project that very much. So, and then you know, my authoritative tone as well, my deep voice and my tonality that I speak with, which is all natural. I think those are all some of the most attractive qualities about my personality.
Yeah, I think we could all agree on his voice, right? he just commands the room. And you don't seem to have. What was that, Mensah?
The Sunday school Mo had it popping.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you don't have any problem, Maurice. You don't have any problem bragging on yourself. I like that. Respect.
No, actually I do.
Well, you did great then. I didn't notice. All right. Lil Mensah. Not Lil Mensah, because he's bigger than me. Now, welcome to the podcast. Your first week. Tell the viewers, tell the family a little bit about yourself, and what do you think is most attractive about you?
Apparently my creative energy, whatever that looks like. But beyond that, I think my general work ethic. I've long learned that just, you know, when I'm given a task, I'll get it done, and you know, a lot of people can attest to that. And so, just, you know, recognizing that, you know, when I step into a room and there's a job to get done, if people don't know me by the end of the job, they know who I am, and it's not that I ask for the attention. I think I just kind of show and prove just through my, again, work ethic and being present and having the know-how to, you know, kind of resolve issues and solve problems and, you know, kind of go from there. I don't step on people's toes. If somebody's running the room, I let them do their job. And, if they find their way to me, then I know that, I've done something to attract their attention, which, can tend to happen. It might come up in an email, months later, but it lets me know that something that I did in that space worked out well. And so, yeah, I mean, just that, because, I mean, as a creative, there can be the illusion that, artists can be all over the place. But, even in my creative practices, my creative processes, I'm a very calculated person. And so it's been interesting, like, relating that to my work ethic in general, because, even in the abstract side of my work, there's clear steps that I take to ensure that I get it done. So everything is just process oriented. And I think that comes out when people, or that's what attracts people to me. And they're just like, hey, you need something done, holla at my friend over here. He's the one you're looking for, so.
Wow, Mensah, with those boss bars early. You're trying to drop the mic before we even get started. I love it.
You give that person the minute to figure out what they want to say.
All right, we'll go in the other order then. What's that?
Yeah. I wanted to say to Mensah real quick, I'm attracted to your creativity. As you were talking, I was thinking about that. I'm like, I think that's another thing that's attractive about like creative people are attractive. And that is one thing that attracts me to you, the fact that you're a creative person. So yeah.
It's an interesting space to
go ahead, Mensah.
Space to be in as a 30-year-old and up adult. Just kind of creating that identity for myself of what what it is to be a creative person at a career level, and dispelling any of the myths that I might have thought that was or what that looked like before becoming it. And so I appreciate that.
Man, I'm gonna just piggyback off of that. If y'all don't get anything out of what we've done so far tonight, if you don't get anything out of anything else, walk away knowing creative people are attractive. Okay, so if you want to be more attractive, go create. Go create something. I love it. I would agree with that. I wanna pivot, and feel free to chime in anytime. We'll talk about a little bit about business, about marketing. We'll focus on that, but I want to focus again on us, right? Just being you. And for those that are watching, that are viewing, appreciate you being here. Hey, throw something in the comments. Let us know, what do you think is most attractive about you as well? We want to get to know y'all as we continue this journey, telling our stories, sharing our stories, hearing yours, and growing our group and our team here. Oh yeah, I guess it's my turn now. I forgot. I feel like people are attracted to my spirit. Like, I have a very warm, calm spirit. I'm steady, but I'm also high energy. If you can't tell by now, when I'm in the right environment with the right people, I'm gonna light up like a supernova. All right. I think I'm also charming. When I get to know people, I care about people. I want to get to know them, make them feel good. I'm not gonna step on any toes, kind of like Mensah said. But I'm also not gonna let you just like sit in the corner. I'm gonna come find you, and I'm gonna pull y'all like, come to the party, come join the party a little bit. That's why I'm excited about all of y'all being here. I can't see everybody on the live right now, but I'm just gonna pretend like there's 10,000 people watching, and then one day there will be. You know what I'm saying? And man, I'm handsome as well. Like, I didn't always feel that way, but then I became an adult, and I was like, yo. Y'all missed the lock years. I'm sorry if you didn't know me when I had locks. Like, you couldn't have done that. I even had to just walk in the room. The locks did all the work for me. Nowadays, I got to work at it a little bit. I actually shave my own head, keep things neat. But I think another thing, and Maurice spoke to this before, in one of our other conversations, is intellect, right? I'm constantly studying and working on myself, and constantly observing and studying and working with people to be able to learn more about them, to be able to help and serve them in a variety of different ways. And I believe in becoming the highest quality version of yourself, not just the best version of yourself, but the highest quality version of yourself. And so, if you enjoy quality creativity, if you enjoy being surrounded by good people, even if you just like to keep to yourself and be a boss or a boss chick, as they say, in your own world and you're right, like, do that. But I guess the final thing is, I tend to focus on higher laws of things. I don't like to deal too much with the lower law. So if I feel like I'm in the lower space, I might disappear on you. That's just real, right? But when I am in my higher state, like, I can't not attract people to me, you know. And when I find people who have an attractive energy even greater than that, like I stick to them like glue, you know. So shifting gears a little bit, because that's a little bit about what we think about ourselves. I want to ask a little bit, what do you think others are attracted to when it comes to you? Mensah, you going first.
I'm tall, so I stand out, but I don't
How tall are you?
6'2".
6'2". Okay.
So I think that, you know, height can create an illusion that someone has, you know, I don't know, maybe like a certain presence that like they're going to be, you know, whatever, out there talking or commanding things. But because I have a very calming, relaxed, chill spirit, I can disappear in a space and somehow. And so I think, I don't know, when people are attracted to, or what I think people are attracted to when I'm in a space is that I don't come off as what I may look like, which either makes me, you know what, honestly, I think it might make me less approachable.
Say more, what do you mean that?
Because I can stand out, you know, physically over top of people, but
sure, yeah,
the way I carry myself is just kind of like to myself, that people might not know how easily it is to start a conversation with me, but I'm not an initiator of conversations. And so might come off in situations as, if he's not talking to me, then I need to wait until that happens. And it's, if you wait for that to happen, it's not going to. So I might get read wrong in some of those situations, in which I'm like, but when somebody does step to me, it's always just like, finally, you know what I mean? Like, I was like, finally. And maybe I think, you know, for some of my very like spiritual friends that kind of read people's energy a lot, those are the people that do get attracted to me and do speak to me. And so in those situations, it's always like just the right people always coming to me, because you know whatever, however our energies align for that moment, they read me right, and something happened, something occurred in that way. So like people are, I think a lot of friends that I've had, at least they appreciate that I have such a calming spirit. That attracts people, I think, to me. And so in that regard, I think that, you know, whenever they catch that, it might take them some time to read that, but whenever they catch that, it's just like, oh wow, I can be around this person and calm and get my ideas, whatever, and feel comfortable. So yeah, I think my calming nature is what attracts people to me. There we go, calming nature.
I want y'all to just take note of the difference in what we see in ourselves and what others see in ourselves. That's part of why I wanted to bring up these two questions before we dive into, you know, how we translate that into other things that we do. Maurice, what do you think? What are others attracted to in you? You kind of touched that earlier, so there may be some confluence or some synergy in that. But go ahead. What do you think others are attracted to in you?
I think, you know, I think I kind of spoke on that earlier as well. I think it's, you know, the authority thing. I think that's the main thing. Yeah, I think that's the main thing, man. I don't even know how to put it. You know, when I walk into a store, or when I walk into a place, when I walk into a building, I mean, people do look at me in a weird way. And I guess being 6'5", don't, you know, I mean, that helps too. You know what I'm saying? Like being 6'5" and having the deep voice, and then having the type of demeanor that I have. I think but I mean, I'm kind of like Mensah as well. I agree that it might turn some people off. I can definitely see how it would turn some people off as well. But I mean, you know, I definitely think it's one of those things that attracts people to me. Like I said, man, people, you know, generally speaking, I think people are unsure, and I'm not speaking about everybody. I think generally speaking, and so when your demeanor is that you're sure of yourself, people latch on to that. because they want to feel secure.
Wow. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So that you do have some things in common there. Majeeda, you had some time to think now. What do you feel? What do you think is most attractive, or others are attracted to when it comes to you?
I'm gonna piggyback off of Maurice's comment earlier. I'm sexy as hell. No.
Hey, cakes.
No. That's part of it, but to echo what Mensah said, though, I don't come off as like that way, right? Like people can meet me and they might see me and they be like, "Oh, wait a minute, like she like I can't approach her," but I'm like super approachable, and just to kind of give you I guess a flavor for that, like, yeah, no, I work full-time in construction, right? That's my full-time gig. And so being a woman in a leadership position with a construction company, like I'm a figure of authority, right? And so initially the perception is like, oh, you know, she the boss, you know, like I can't talk to her. And then, you know, I go speak Spanish to the crew members. And they're like, oh, wait a minute. Like, she speak my language. She's, you know, she like, and then I'm very like, just like them, you know? So I think the fact that like, I've never seen myself as above anyone else. Like, I don't perceive that people work beneath me. So I've always seen myself on the same level as anyone else, regardless of my position. You know, titles and all that stuff don't really faze me. I'm like Mensah, I'm about getting work done. And so the fact that I treat people, you know, kind of the golden rule, like I treat people the way I want to be treated. And so when you can have a certain posture or demeanor or disposition or stature that may be perceived one way, but when people get to know you, like the you is not the physical part of you. You know what I'm saying? Like the you is your spirit, is your mindset, is, you know, and that's really what's attractive. Before this call, there was this event tonight with Girls Trek with Nikki Giovanni and Angela Davis. And that was one of the things that Angela Davis spoke on. It was the fact that like beauty is not the physical part. Like we can get sometimes so caught up in what we physically look like. And when people, if that's all people see, when they see me, they don't even know me. Like they don't really see me if they get caught up in being attracted to what's just on the exterior. Because I know that I'm so much more than that. So like you can look past that. If you can't look past that, then like you're not even gonna be able to really connect or reach me. So when people understand that, like, and they get to know me and they understand that, like, I ain't even on that, you know, yeah, you might like getting dressed up and, you know, looking good, feeling good and all that. But like at the end of the day, like that ain't really who I am. Who I am, I'm about production. I'm about wealth. I'm about my family. And I'm not gonna make no excuses about that. Like, and so I think that's what made that, you know, even like, and I think about my profession. I've been in my job now for 14 years.
Bars.
Right. And
respect.
At the end of the day, you know, my boss said to me last year, he was just like I get results. Like I just get things done. So on a professional level, like that's what's attractive to, you know, a person in you know, who I answer to. But to people that are around me, who like me, I'm a giver. I guess I could say that. Like the people that are close to me, like you in my circle, like I'll give whatever I have. And I'm willing to support things that I believe in, you know? So even if it doesn't personally benefit me, I'm gonna support what somebody else is trying to do if that benefits and is meaningful to something that I value. So yeah, I support and I give and I get it done.
That's fire, man. I'm hearing some common themes between all of y'all. I see in the chat, We got a couple of individuals. What's most important? Jamie says, what was that? I just saw it.
Fine.
Welcome, LJ. I see you guys.
Jamie said it was
self-resolution, personality.
Yep, that's what she said.
All right, India. Don't really define what's attractive about me. I leave that up to the audience. Okay, don't worry about it. May be different for different people, but I do have areas that I'm confident in and develop for personal growth. Matter of fact, if you guys check out India, you know, India, drop your Instagram in there in the chat, because I know it's some powerful work, powerful stuff that you're doing out there. Definitely, you know, promote yourself in the comments. That's all good. Definitely some powerful themes like being tall. Okay, I see y'all. I'm a 6'1" myself, so we got a little height in the family, in the crew. Being a boss, being authoritative, right? You know, being able to command a room. All of that seems to be, you know, authentically attractive about all of you here. And something else that seems to stick out, I just noticed this. I'm the lightest person on this podcast right now. So that might make you stick out a little bit. shout out to CJ the boss, you know.
I don't know what brothers. Maurice got hidden.
that light doing a little bit for you, Maurice, but that's crazy. Welcome everybody. Again, like, what do you think is most attractive about you? And I bring these questions up, you know, so we can get a little perspective on, just really check your self-awareness. You know what I mean? Like, being authentically you, being attractive, I feel like you have to be self-aware, right? To be authentic, right? If you don't know who you are, and we could talk about the disc in a minute, you know, I definitely want to bring that in. You know, is it even important to you to what others think about you and being attractive? I like India's response, like, she doesn't worry about it, right? Sure. So just briefly, like, is that even important to you? Why not? And then I want to shift and we want to take it in the other direction in a minute, right? Madam Uplift, I see you. So what do you think? You know, is that even important to you? What others think is attractive about you or not?
Nope.
Majeeda gets nope. Mensah?
It shouldn't be, but I think it comes up, you know, just in self-reflective moments, to some extent. At times, I can speak for myself. I might feel like I'm trying to work to appeal to others, and you know, in that self-reflection, I combat that with, you know, reminding myself what I do for, which is, you know, in the creative space, generally for myself, my own interests and explorations and just curiosity. But my field of expertise is essentially entertainment, you know, to some extent. And so in that regard, like, things that I do is, and I think it more so, it's not, maybe when I separate myself from my work, I tend to try to relive or re-experience my work through the eyes of others when I do hear their perspective on what it is that I might create. And I think it's because I have a platform that calls to address or calls to have the attention of others on it. Like, it has to have an audience. And so I'm always trying to figure out how my work is reflective on its audience, so that I know how my work is being reached, and I can better address either my work or others in how I talk about my work. So, so I guess in more in my passion or my creative space, I am curious as to how other people are reading what it is that I'm putting out.
Okay. Yeah, so no starving artist over there. He's actually in tune with what's going on with the people. Think it's important when it comes to developing the community. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna get to the comments in a minute. Hey, powerful, powerful. So I got a note from Majeeda. I got a it's important to my work from Mensah. Maurice, how important is it for people, you know, what they think is attractive about you?
Repeat that question. I apologize. I got a phone call right in the middle of that.
That's all good. Yeah. Cell phones off. Cell phones. No, I'm just playing.
I didn't answer, but he interrupted my connection.
Everybody's busy, man. I understand. No, I asked the question. is it important, you know, what other people think is attractive about you, and why or why not? And then we're gonna shift gears. We've been here 45 minutes, man. Appreciate you guys rocking with us tonight. Go ahead, Maurice.
Yeah, I would say no. I would say no. Ain't even too much to elaborate on that. Like, you get all crossed up. I think it was Bill Cosby that said, "I don't know how to succeed, but the way to fail is to try to please everybody." That's exactly what I'm talking about when you make that statement. Like you can't get crossed up in what other people think about you. You really can't. You really can't.
Hey, drop that mic one more time. Drop that mic one more time. What was that? The way to fail.
Yeah, it was Bill Cosby that said, "I don't know how the formula for success, but the formula for failure is to try to please everyone." And so you just kind of gotta not really be too worried about what other people think. Now, that's not everybody. Like, I care what my wife thinks. You know what I'm saying? So that's not generally that's not generally speaking across the board. You know what I mean? But you know, I definitely can't let other people's opinion, letting other people's opinion of you, you know, will absolutely stop you from. That stops you from being authentic. I mean, that's a great question, actually. That definitely stops you from being who you truly are. And you know, it's almost like a prison cell, almost, to allow yourself and your actions to be guided so much by what others think. You know, I would rather for a person to reject the real me than to accept the fake me.
Drop the mic. And we're gonna have a lot of candidates this week.
Yeah,
it might just be no.
My personal philosophy is, if they don't pay your bills, who cares what they think?
Ouch.
Like, if you putting food on my table,
what more is there to say?
Right, I think there was this meme that was shared, and it said that with people having an opinion on your life or about your life or about what you're doing, like, you should ask them, which one of my bills are you gonna be paying next month? Because at the end of the day, like, that's really what it comes down to. Like, your opinion doesn't feed my family, so, like, I don't need to take that into consideration.
Wow. That's definitely gonna help people step their game up, you know, in the rest of 2020, aka COVID-20 is what we calling this. So I guess that really brings us to our big question today. And as you can see in the title, you know, authentic attraction. First, it takes, you know, being authentically you. But for those, you know, all of us are entrepreneurs in our own rights and regards. So, you know, Maurice, he poses a question to you all, and definitely, you know, I want you to chime in the comments, share your thoughts. So, are you BSing people when you're marketing your business or when you're marketing yourself? Maurice, tell us a little bit about, like, that question.
You know,
what you're looking to talk about.
I'm glad you actually came to me first, because I got a couple of notes down right here to dig into authentic attraction. And you were talking about, you know, bringing perspective into this conversation earlier. What I was thinking about is inauthentic attraction, to try to give us another perspective on attraction, right? So I'm just gonna run down 4 examples of inauthentic attraction that I most certainly have been guilty of in my life. I think we all probably at times have been guilty of these, but I know myself, I've dealt with all 4 of these things in my business, when I'm presenting my business to someone, or when I'm presenting myself to someone as an individual, either one. So one thing is having an ulterior motive, not being upfront with people. When I think about the phrase authentic attraction, or better yet, inauthentic attraction, that's exactly what comes to mind. You know, people can detect when you're up to something, right? People can feel the energy when you're up to something. And so, you know, not being upfront with a person, to me, is definitely a recipe for disaster. Now, again, I'm not talking about whether it's justified or not. You know, like we will, you know, to avoid a conflict, right? We might not be upfront with a person. So I ain't saying whether it's right or whether it's wrong. I'm just saying that I do believe when you're not upfront with a person, when you do have an ulterior motive, when you're not letting them know what you're really up to, that is inauthentic attraction. And I mean, I would say that it's always better to be authentic. Like I said, I would rather you have a problem with the truth than, you know what I'm saying, than we dealing with a false premise, essentially. So that's one thing I've definitely been guilty of, is having an ulterior motive and not being upfront with a person. And a lot of times we got ulterior motives, and that's okay to me if you're upfront with it. Like if you let me know upfront, this is what the goal is, then I got the choice to move with it or not. But if you hiding that back from me, you're not being inauthentic with your methods of trying to attract me. And so, like I said, I've been guilty of that several times in my life. Another thing is,
hold on before you move on, because we're about having a high level conversation, but we also want to be specific. You got a story. You say you had something. I mean, describe a time that somebody was inauthentic with you and how you responded with that.
I'm gonna get to the story part actually.
All right.
I think I know what you're talking about. I was telling you a couple, last week about the story, but I'm gonna get to that in just 1 second.
Okay.
Another thing is not telling people what I really think, instead telling them what they want to hear. Again, I think that's one of those things that we are all guilty of from time to time. I know I've been guilty of that myself. But again, that is inauthentic attraction, right? If my wife says to me, do I look fat in this dress? If she look fat in the dress, then if I'm gonna be authentic, then I need to let her know that. I'm not helping the situation though when I say, no, you look fine. I'm actually lying. You know what I mean? I'm being very inauthentic with my attraction, right? It's something else, and this is getting into the story, presenting myself differently online than I do in real life, right? And I'm not so guilty of this now, but I have been guilty of this throughout the years of presenting something online. Go ahead, buddy. So the story is, like when I was promoting credit repair, right? Now my job is to drive a truck. That's my 9 to 5. That's my bread and butter. But my side business is working as a representative for a credit repair company, right? Now, somehow, some way, I got it stuck in my mind that people would never trust me to help them with their credit if they knew I drove a truck. So that was mistake number one. It's like, you know what, man, if I let people know who I really am and what I really do, they're not going to be attracted to me, which was a mistake, a huge mistake. So anyway, I'm coming home in the evening and getting out of my trucking clothes and switching on to my suit or to my polo shirt or whatever, so I can make a video, so I can go out to meet somebody. And one day, I was set to go out and meet Pavi Eel. Pavi reached out to me. I don't know Pavi, but she reached out to me on LinkedIn. And she was like, I was interested in having a sit down with you because, you're the credit guy. She worked in some type of financial services as well. I'm not 100% sure. I can't remember. But we met at the Starbucks or whatever. And I presented myself like a professional because I am a professional. But she asked me when we was talking, she said, what else do you do? Or, I can't remember the exact words that she asked me, but she essentially asked me what I'm doing when I'm not working with the credit company. And I couldn't lie to her. I told her, I was like, I drive a truck. And when I said that to her, man, she don't even know this either. So hopefully she'll see this, but she don't even know this. But when she said that to me, or when I said that to her, something changed in her demeanor. And the energy that I got back from her at that moment suggested that what she was looking at in person was something different than what she thought it was going to be based on what I was showing people online. And that was a huge moment for me, man. It was small, but it was huge at the same time, because after that conversation with Pavi, I just realized that's one of the things, that was like one of the straws that broke the camel's back. It was one of the things that made me stop promoting credit repair, because I'm like, man, I either gotta go all the way with this. I either gotta become like really what I'm presenting myself as, or I gotta tell people, who I really am, and if they're gonna reject me, then they're gonna reject me. And at that time, I wasn't prepared to share with people who I really was. I'm like, nobody's gonna help them, gonna trust me helping them with their credit, knowing that I drive a truck. So I just didn't trust the process, man. And like I said, that one meeting with Pavi really was one of the things that was like, look, dude, if you ain't gonna go all in with it, then you need to get out. And so that was, actually shout out to Pavi. I actually been tempted to call her a couple of times, just let her know, yo, look, you actually presented me with a moment of clarity. And I want to thank you. I want to thank you for that. So hopefully she'll see this one day and she will,
oh yeah, I just invited her. We talked earlier today, actually. So
I would like her to know the impact that she had on me, because she absolutely did help me grow. And then I want to say one more thing, and then I'm gonna shut up. The last thing that I've been guilty of as far as inauthentic attraction is not really wanting what I say that I want. So here's a quick example, right? So let's just say you're observing a person that comes to you and he says, I want this thing, right? And then you observe him and he goes off and you see him working his butt off to attract this thing in his life. And so you come to the conclusion that, you know what, man, this guy, he said he wants this thing. He really wants it. He really does. And so you got another guy that says he really wants this thing, but then you observe him and you don't really see him working for it. You see him cutting out early. You see him not putting his all into it. And you come to the conclusion that, you know what, this guy really don't really want this thing that he's saying he wants, right? One is willing to work for it. The other one isn't willing to work for it. And the one that's willing to work for it, to me, that's the example of authentic attraction. He is really working for what it is that he says he wants. The other one is kind of being inauthentic. He's saying he wants it, but he's not acting in accordance with that.
Oh.
Now, if that makes sense to you as an example of authentic attraction and inauthentic attraction, I want to go just one step further. So if I want something in life and I'm working towards it, I'm being authentic in my attraction. If I say I want something in life and I'm not working towards it, I'm really not being authentic in my attraction. I believe that is applicable to life. So when we ask for something from the universe and we don't act in accordingly, we don't act in accordance with that, it's just like the guy that says, I want this thing, but then when we watch him, he's not really working for it. And then we say, he don't really want it. He's not really being authentic with his attraction. So I think that's applicable in life as well. When you got things and desires that you want in life and you're not really prepared to go to work and get them, that's to me another perspective on being inauthentic in your attraction. Like, do you really want what you say you want? Right. Basically, that's what that kind of boils down to. So, and those are all four things dealing with inauthentic attraction that I've absolutely been guilty of in my business and in my personal life.
All right. Feedback.
Didn't even know what to say on that one, huh?
Feedback, like, Mensah, Majeeda, give me something.
Go ahead, Mensah.
You got it, sis.
I was just gonna say that, like, kind of to the point that I made earlier, like, I'm not good at pretending. So I think a lot of what you spoke to is really about knowing yourself. So part of the inauthenticity, I don't know if that's a word, or unauthentic nature of part of being inauthentic is just not knowing yourself. Like, if you don't know yourself well, then like you're making moves or you're taking steps, essentially you're trying to figure things out, and so it's part of the journey, you know. Like, it's not, like you said, it may not be malicious being inauthentic, but the more you get to know yourself, the more authentic you'll be, and the less inauthentic you're going to be. And so, just to the points that you made, you know, when I thought about a lot of what you were saying, it was just like, oh, this person just don't know themselves. Right. Because I think even about my entrepreneurial journey, like, I'm still working full time because I know for certainty that I want security, right? Like, I'm not giving up security for a dream. However, I do know that I want more than where I currently am. But I know I need to become in order to have more. So the becoming is working on me, right? It's not just doing this activity. I've got to become a different person. I got to level up, so to speak, to get to this different level that I say I want to get to. But I may not be aware of that initially. in pursuing this dream, right? I mean, I'm like, oh, all right, I was doing this type of activity over here. I had this type of work ethic over here, and that worked to get to this level. So I'm gonna apply that same work ethic over here, and it doesn't work over here. And so it's not that I'm being inauthentic. It's just I don't know myself well enough, or I don't realize what it takes to get to that next level. And so as I get to know myself, I realize, oh, wait a minute. I've got to become somebody that I haven't been in order to reach this other level that I'm trying to get to. And so in understanding and learning yourself and growing to that point, then you become, Bakar said earlier, a higher quality version of yourself, which allows you to be able to then achieve at a different level where you couldn't achieve before because you didn't know who you were, and you were applying the same work ethic as an employee to become an entrepreneur, and it don't work. Like it's a whole different set of values and ethics. It's a different level that's required to become an entrepreneur than it is to just be an employee. So I think part of that is the journey. When you talk about our story, our journey, our way, part of the journey is really unfolding yourself, getting to know yourself, becoming a better version or higher quality version of yourself so that you can reach a different level, so that you can become more. And as Jerome says, you be, you do, you then have, right? So you become, then you do the work, then you can have the result of what you're pursuing.
And who said that? Who did you say said that?
Jerome, be, do, have.
Oh, I thought you said Jerome said that.
I thought she did too. I was like, Jerome.
Jerome.
Shout out to Jerome.
Like, I know what Jerome is.
Whoever Jerome is.
Yo,
Jim
listening
Rome.
at the podcast right now on Facebook. Drop a comment if y'all think she said Jerome a minute ago.
Definitely. Yo, and you guys, hey, for everybody still watching, appreciate y'all. Y'all been rocking with us for an hour, man. Normally, I'll tell you, these conversations that we just have can go into the night. So I appreciate you being here. Hey, rock with us as long as you can tonight. But the full podcast is going to be on YouTube. So look out for that link in the next couple of days. If you don't get the whole thing, definitely feel like you'll get some value out of it. I'm gonna skip me right now because I definitely want to come back to this topic about the authentic self, because I think out of all of us here, I might be the one who faking the funk the most, and I want to talk to that for a second. But Mensah, I think, is really on the opposite end of that spectrum, right? As far as being authentic and attracting people to what you're doing, like when you're marketing yourself and your business. Mensah, as the creative individual with the scruffy beard and the glasses and the locks and the your paintings in the background, not somebody else's paintings.
Hey, the glasses ain't scruffy.
Exactly, right? Your glasses, like he invested in himself, right? He probably even made that and printed that shirt himself too. Like,
This is Glenn Lee shirt.
he printed this one, or maybe that was Maurice.
No, that was Maurice.
That was Maurice. Either way, right? Talk about that, Mensah, a little bit. You know, how is it that you avoid having those ulterior motives, or you know?
Yeah, I mean, and speaking to being an artist, I can say that I've had a privileged experience as being, I'll call it the spoiled, fifth child of our household, where I really was allowed to just explore whatever it is that I wanted to do, even if I didn't know what that was. And so, like, never having a pressure of saying, "Oh, are you sure that's what you want to do?" Like, I never felt that pressure from my family, my parents, our parents, from any of you, to where I had the opportunity to just, explore the arts. And I just always knew that, when it came to, electives in high school, it was like, I'm taking art. And when it came to like going to college, not that I had any dream or really interest in going to college. I wasn't like gung ho, like, oh, I can't wait to go to college. It was more just like another step. Because I guess early in my life, it was just like, I'm following the process and following the footsteps of my oldest siblings. But I just knew that when I was going to college, the only thing that really interested me was art. And I was like, I'm going to do something. And I guess it had been plugged in my head enough that, if you're going to do something with the rest of your life, do something that you love. And I couldn't say that I knew that I loved art at that time, but I knew that it had given me the most interest. It caught my eye the most. So, you know, I pursued it. I didn't know what I was going to get out of it or what was going to happen, but I was open to it. I went to college, ended up taking a version of art that I wasn't expecting to take because of a misunderstanding of the titles of things. You'll see curriculums, they play with words a lot just to attract you. So I was like, graphic design, that sounds better than comprehensive. I won't be no art historian. I was wrong. Comprehensive and studio arts, that's where I wanted to be at. But even in that regard, like I had the opportunity to really pursue something that I was interested in without any pressures of, being an adult or anything like that. So, and I think that just continued to stick with me when it related to my career path. And then when I went to, I worked in construction for 5 years with my sister to some extent. Moved up in that world, within those 5 years, moved up to a position that had, an opportunity to get some nice, decent money. And it triggered my more mathematical, scientific side, where I was just like, oh, I get to play with numbers. That was cool too, but I got hit with a hard question. I was like, is that what you want to do for the next 5 years? And my authentic self said, nah. It was like, nah, you don't. And so, I had to take that leap and went to grad school. And that's, I really didn't know that I wanted to be the artist that I am today until maybe, 5 years ago. To where all before that, it was fun. It was exploring. I was interested in it, but I didn't know what that looked like until I really delved into what it is to be an artist. And that gave me the opportunity again and I told myself, I vowed to myself when I got to grad school that I wouldn't work a job again that didn't relate to the arts. And that stuck. I went through, a good year of no work, year two, I got some like work at school. But that was supporting me at school. So I did work in like, the graduate studies office at Norfolk State. But outside of that, like when I started to get jobs outside of the school, it was working for a museum, got some teaching opportunities, or just projects and things that all related to how I could build up my career as an artist, to really finding out what it meant to be a full-time artist or working in the art fields and all the different opportunities and possibilities. And so that's one space that I know that I've been, my truest self, even with opportunities that are presented to me, being more honest with myself and saying, I'm not going to do that because I'm not interested in it, as opposed to I'll do it because I'm capable of doing it. Because that's two different things, it's like you can fall into that trap of, I need, I might have wants and needs, money, whatever, and this thing that's presented is an opportunity, so why not take it? But if it doesn't interest you and it draws more, more drama to your life than it does happiness, why continue to put yourself in those positions? And so,
it takes you away from doing the thing that you want to do or that you want to do more. Yeah.
Right. And it takes, and when you start to learn that like there are people to do the jobs that you don't want to do, and if you start to know those people, then you're like, look, I can't do it, and but I'm gonna try to hook you up with somebody that might be able to, because they might want to do it. You know what I mean? It can help them out better.
Bro.
So just passing that, being like, I don't need to do every job. I got my jobs for a reason, and that person can use that work.
Bro, that's a perfect segue right there, because that is the point that I was going to come to. Knowing your job, knowing your role, as opposed to doing all the jobs. I could tell you, out of this whole group, I'll be frank and honest, I am the laziest of this bunch. Straight up. I might be one of the most gifted, but I'm probably the laziest of this bunch, right? And that's not to say that I don't work hard and go in. I'm saying what I see through them is a laser focus oftentimes, because they've been able to simplify and just dig into what it is that they know that they do well, right? And when they're not in that arena, like they don't feel good, they don't look good, and they can't be their best. I feel like me, on the other hand, I'm in a little bit of a different space where I've been a good follower, but I never really wanted to let anybody tell me what to do. Like, I want to do what I want, period. Mm-hmm. At the same time, like, that often causes a lot of tension when it comes to dealing with you know, culture, dealing with society, right? Like when I'm thinking about higher laws of things, there's a lot of stuff you discard. I was having a conversation earlier today, or maybe yesterday. I don't know. The days are blending together. Where, you know, somebody really close to me asked me, like, does their opinion matter? I was like, no. To me, like, no. Your opinion doesn't matter. Like, there's no truth in opinion. Right? There may be some truth, but like your opinion is not the truth. I can discard opinions. But I'm getting a little bit away from Mensah was talking about there. Like a little bit about my background. Like I went to college. I have 2 engineering degrees. I studied aerospace engineering. I studied systems. I taught. And I've done a lot of things over years just to learn and gain exposure, but oftentimes realize like that's not where my heart was, right? I did it because that's what I thought I had to do. Like I graduated high school because it was expected of me. I went to college pretty much because, you know, what else was I going to do? I wasn't going to join the military because I wanted to grow my hair, like pretty much. And I seen with other people. So I went to college, you know, I realized quickly the curriculum wasn't designed for me. Right. So I had to kind of figure out my own path. And, you know, along the way, I found myself little by little. Along the way, I found myself little by little. I graduated, you know, I got the degrees. I wasn't, you know, a 4-year star like Majeeda. You know, I just made the deadline. Again, you did it in 4. That's all I'm saying. You did it in 4 and you had a job a week later. Right. Most people talk about. And you're still with that same company. Right. That's like the American dream. Except it was a nightmare, right? So seeing that, I'm just like, yeah, I'm good on that. I don't need to necessarily. What's that?
I'm grateful.
Absolutely. I mean, it is definitely something to celebrate, right? And something to have, you know, respect, security in your life as well. But for me, you know, what was always important is just finding my way, regardless of what the stakes were, right? I'm not afraid to get a little uncomfortable, to take some risks in order to make sure that I'm going to head in a direction that's going to bring about the best version of me. So, you know, even when I was teaching or when I was working, you know, in engineering, and I had somebody tell me on the job, man, people like you know, with a positive attitude and with big goals and with dreams and like people like you don't last long around here. Like said that to me on a job, a new job. I'm the new guy. I've been there less than 2-3 months. People like you don't last long around here because I'm positive, because I want more than what this job offers, because there's people who've been here 30 years doing the same thing over and over again and dissatisfied with their lives. And I can be very unapologetic about this. I'm going to do what I want ultimately and eventually. I may not get there the quickest, but I'm going to get there. And it ain't always going to be pretty, you know. You know, authentically, I've struggled with trying to fit in with what the culture says you could do and knowing what my spirit tells me to do every day. Right, to the point where, you know, I'll pull back completely. I'll disappear. Majeeda was talking about me. I was on a hot seat this week, you know, coming into this topic within our group as we, you know, just were discussing, like, it's one thing to have a clear vision for what you want to be and what you want to do and being able to share. You know, as Maurice pointed out, the type of person say, I want something, but like, what sort of work are you putting in towards it? And a lot of times, like, man, I had dreams. I'm chasing, you know, 5-6 rabbits, right? You know, because I got, oh man, this is exciting. I want to do this. You know, like, I want to do poetry and art. And, you know, I put out a book when I was in college, right? So I did a little bit of that. But I'm also in school, so I want to get this degree, and then, you know, also want a relationship and a family. So, you know, I'm chasing this space, and you can have it all. But I feel like, you know, maybe along the way, you can lose a sense of yourself if you don't have a clear picture of what you want that to look like. And I think that was for me. I spent a lot of time in that exploration mode. You know, just trying to figure out where I fit within the culture, where I fit within my own goals and dreams. And so it's been a struggle for me to be authentic, because to be authentic, a lot of times when I meet people, because, you know, I'm sure you probably heard this before, like when you first meet people, you know, are you presenting you or are you presenting your representative, right? You know, do you have ulterior motives? And I'll admit, sometimes when I meet people, I do have ulterior motives when it comes to people. Like, I want you to be your best. And if I can see that and feel that, and I pick up on that a lot of times with people, just, you know, your words locate you, your conversations locate you, right? So if the quality of your conversation or the questions you're asking, the things you're talking about, you're saying one thing and you're out of alignment somewhere else, you know, I can relate to that one because I've been there. And I've done that so many times in my own space. But I know the type of work that I'm doing on myself internally to make sure that ultimately I'm going to be where I want to be. When I don't hear that and see that with people, like, I want to shift you. I want to move you toward a better version of yourself, right? Like, I always have that ulterior motive. I want you to be better. And I don't even have to know you. You could be a complete and total stranger, and I can meet you, make a connection with you, and I want to see you moving in a positive direction. I don't know what that is, but maybe in building a relationship or getting to know you, you know, I'll tease that out. Maurice, I see your hand. Go ahead, man.
Real quick, you can keep on going. It's not an ulterior motive if you are telling a person up front, yo, listen, I'm gonna let you know before we even get into this. My objective is to see you do better. It's not an ulterior motive then, just throwing that out there.
I hear that. I hear that. Now, and I appreciate that. I'm gonna have to put that to use a little more. I'll be honest, the way people respond to that kind of thing, is like, it comes off a little weird. And I'm cool with being a little weird. Like, I'm a little weird. Like, I'm gonna look in the camera like, I'm a little weird, if you haven't noticed. Very, very strange in that regard. At the same time, it can be detrimental when you're trying to build a business. It can be detrimental when you people aren't really able to meet you until they're able to pull back the layers of the onion, right? They have to really spend some time with you. You know, I even have some little weird rules that I follow when it comes to spending time with people. You know, I got a 24-hour rule. I got a 90-day rule, a 1-week rule, you know, just to figure out, like, how long are you gonna really be around me? Because the longer you stay around me, the longer you're gonna feel that tension of, like, where are we going? All right. And I know I may not be the perfect model of everything that I want right now. So that's what my focus is, you know, as often and as much as I can, you know, is to present myself as the one who's aiming for something bigger. And I got a huge vision, huge dreams, and the type of person who can see any and everyone fitting within that, right? All of us really working together, growing like this group. But it's hard to meet people there when you don't know where they are, right? So being able to meet people where they are first, a lot of times they may not meet me because I'm meeting them, or I feel like I'm meeting them where they are. And if they're beyond where I'm at, I become very aware of where I'm not. You know what I mean? And so, go ahead, man. Go ahead, Mo.
No, I was saying yes. I understand what you mean.
Yeah, well, and so,
like something that you said in reference to building a business or building anything, what has helped me is understanding that I have to first build myself. Like, if you don't do that first, building anything outside of yourself is going to be fruitless, or it's going to be for naught. You know, like, you're just going to be spinning your wheels because you don't know you. You know what I mean? Like, it's like you don't have any background in construction, but you're going to try to build a house. Like, you got to learn. You got to get the experience. You have to get your fingernails dirty, you know. You have to
pretty boy, man. I ain't getting dirty. I get in the gym, but like I clean my nails daily. You know what I'm saying? Like, hourly.
But I mean, to that point, like, it's just, you know, I know for myself, like, I can't even think about building something until I build me. So the point that I made earlier, that like I'm trying to build a business, but I haven't built myself. I haven't become an entrepreneur. I haven't become a business owner, but I'm trying to run a business. Like, it don't work that way. Like, you have to become, and then you will attract, and then you can run. You know what I mean? But if I don't become first, like, whatever I'm pursuing is going to always escape me, you know? And that's something for myself. Like, that's how I've gotten to know myself better. It's just knowing that, like, if I don't build me first, if I don't do the hard work on me, right? If I can't keep a schedule, how am I going to run a business, right? If I can't keep a tight schedule, if I can't get up early, if I can't stick to a scheduled activities throughout the day, like how am I going to run a business?
You can't follow through on your promises.
Right. Like it's little things, you know? And so to the topic of authentic attraction, like it really comes down to knowing yourself, you know, like at the end of the day, like you have to know yourself. And then once you know yourself and you continue to constantly work on yourself, you constantly do the work, you will find that the things that you want will come to you because you're being true to yourself, because you're being authentic, because you know who you are. But as long as you don't take the time, and some people think like like I know me. No, you don't. Right? Like have you studied? You know what I mean? Like
blind spots.
Honestly, like how many people like take time to like study themselves? Like, do you think about what you think about? You know, like it's things like, do you think about how you respond to things, or how you like it's constantly reflecting on how you show up in the world. Like if you're not doing that work, just like you study anything else. You know, Jim Rohn is one of my favorites. India agrees, right? Jim Rohn. She heard Jim Rohn, right?
Not Jerome.
Jim Rohn in the house. Anyway.
Shout out to Aspiration. You know, Bang, they send this beautiful little hat. We don't have sponsors yet, but you know what? They're coming. They're coming.
Yo, I need them to tighten up, man. I've been trying to get at them, yo.
Hey, look, they left a comment on my page. Sorry, they left a comment on my page. You saw my first image with the hat.
And that's exactly why you didn't need to use that song. Because of what you just said about the sponsors.
We got you. They coming. I'm just saying. We'll talk about that. But forgive me, Majeeda, to your point. If you haven't done it, you know, it's really difficult to share it with somebody else. You know what I mean? I think that's big. You know, another takeaway, you know, if you haven't done it, like go out there and do it first. Go out there, do it. You know, if you gotta lock yourself away, go out there and do it.
Yeah.
Become it first. Don't
become it. So, I mean, talk about that a little bit too. You know, Mensah, I give you a chance. Talk about that a little bit. You know, when you're in the process, like all of us are, in the process of becoming it, you know, how do you balance that, or how do you find harmony within that space when you haven't become it, but you have to do the work in sharing and talking and building, you know, those connections with people as well. Can you help people who are navigating that space a little bit?
I think I can, in that regard, I can only really speak to my personality, in that I don't feel comfortable speaking about something that I don't think that I am.
Mm-hmm.
And so even when other people can see it in me, I'm still not going to strongly pursue it until it, you know, it just kind of naturally, you know, falls into place. And I've learned to take some people's, you know, trusted people's words into consideration when it's saying like a lot of people have referred to me as a leader, but I've never felt myself stepping up to a leadership role. I feel like I'm like the ultimate foreman. Like I have a boss that can direct me and give me jobs to do, and I can lead that project or that job very well. And I'll be right there on the ground with the people if there's other people involved. Sometimes, you know, maybe doing too much, but because that's with people expecting that, you know, because they're seeing this leader, but I feel like I have a more, I mean, I've acknowledged it for myself. I'm a silent leader in that people are attracted to that I'll get it done. And if I know the process to get it done, then I can trust that I can share that with other people to help get it done faster. But I'm probably not going to be the one that's, you know, organizing the project to say this is what we're going to do. But like people know to bring me on because I'll get it done once I feel like, you know, and even if it's something that I don't necessarily know all the way, like all the steps, like you give me enough, like you give me that inch, and I feel what is it? What's the word? Accountable enough then I'll figure out the rest to make, you know, to get it done somehow. So like, so yeah, like, and like I want, another thing I want to tie in, because this is an analogy I've been making about me and you, Bakar, that I haven't shared with you, but I've just like been thinking about it for a long time.
Uh-oh, debuts.
I'm pretty sure that I like I've had the conversation with myself. You saw that Instagram post I had like a couple days ago. So it's just like, this is me talking to myself. Like I do that all the time with all kinds of subjects. So like in you know, recognizing like what, you know, some of your strengths is as far as how you present yourself to others, as you described, versus how I present myself to others. Like in the situation of like, if you know, we had to go build something real quick, what I fall in love with is the process of, you know, give me enough information to get started, and then I enjoy figuring out, you know, how to make it, you know, work faster. So if it's like, you know, cutting some wood, and I know I'm going to be cutting the same sizes over and over, the technique that I start off with is going to change to the most efficient one by the end of the project. To where I'm going to be like, yeah, I learned how to do this, and I started off doing this, and then I figured out I don't have to flip the board that way. I can flip it this way, and now I'm just boom, 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 boom. Whereas I think you would sit there and like literally like write out that plan before starting, so that we might come to the same conclusion as far as the most efficient way to do something. But I would have done it from actually doing it, where you would have thought it out beforehand, and like, this makes more sense to do it this way. To where I might finish the project while it's kind of like the tortoise in the head. Like I finished the project, and you're like, I figure out how to do it.
Yeah, because I'm thinking about how many people I can hire to get the job done, so I can move on to the next thing. That's me. You know, I'm gonna figure out. Okay, hold on. Because here's the thing: like, you could do it one time, get it done. But like, if nobody documents it, then that process is lost. So for me, like, just to your point, I think about, okay, how can we do this best and put it in more people's hands so more people could do it? Because like, I don't care about doing that job. I care about doing the job well. So if I can put a plan together, I can move a lot more jobs than me just digging in the dirt first. But I 100% get your point. Like, you got to get in the dirt to understand that. You know, like I get in the dirt in the mind first, and then I put it into action. But a lot of times by that point, there's somebody who's better at being in the dirt than me. I don't like. And
then again, I think that just goes to my point as far as like recognizing your role and knowing where you fit. Because if I was to go try to do things your way, I'm gonna get like frustrated that I'm like trying to balance so many things, where I know I'm more one-track minded. Like, you give me that, I'm gonna do that well, and then you give me the next project, or you know, a little bit before the other one is over, so that I can get into that a little bit. And again, like, I'll look at the plans to be like, all right, cool, so we're gonna do this way, and then, you know, send me off. That's it. I'm gonna do it. And then like that's my approach again in my creative process as well. It's like I develop a plan to get started, and then, you know, over time I'm like, this is the most efficient way to do this. This is the best materials. This is that. Where, you know, I could sit down and be like, all right, let me go research and figure out what other people have used and did this, that, and the third. Like, I do that beginning research, but, you know, I have that interest to get in there with the material, because I tend to have to, like, somebody can tell me something, and then 3 years later, when it makes sense that I have to deal with it, then I'll be like, all right, click. They said to do that, and they've been telling me to do this, and now it makes sense for me to do it, because I had to go through the motions to get to that point still.
All right. So there's definitely some different approaches in being authentically you and knowing and understanding your role. You know, I think that's a big point too. You know, understanding your role when it comes to the things and spaces that you work in. Like I said, like, I'm definitely the type of person, you know, who can come up with a quality plan, and I want to help and direct people to the solutions. Like, I'm naturally, I think, a director more so than a producer, right? So like, you want me to sit there and hold your hand and like walk you through every step of the way, we only gonna go so far, because by the time we didn't take it 10 steps, I done seen 3 or 4 other people that can get there further, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna help them first because we can get more done that way, and then I'll come back and work with you. And that can be off-putting, I recognize, when it comes to people. If you don't show and share, willing to spend all of the time with them, even though I'm patient. What's that?
So you played a lot of chess early in our years.
I sure did.
and I just did not care to play.
I did play chess. And so, like, final thought, I did want to end. Like I said, I wanted to pivot and shift directions and swing the pendulum the other way. You know, what do you all think is the most off-putting about yourself? So that you can just watch out for it and let people know, hey, man, you know what? If you see me in this space, check me.
I think for me, it's the same. It's also, and I spoke on this earlier, and that's if I understand your question. I think I do.
You do.
It's my authoritativeness, my authority demeanor. I think that can come across. It does come across sometimes as being demanding. I know it does. And that's why for a long time I had Joe Clark on my profile picture. I used to call myself on Facebook Maurice Joe Clark Bey, because it's like I saw the similarities in that. It's like, all right, Joe Clark really cared. But you know what I mean? It's like, yo, he's the guy that you go to when all else is failed. And at that point, he don't want to ask a whole bunch of questions. He don't really care about, my wife can attest to this. He don't really care about your feelings too much at that point. He's trying to get something done.
5-minute warning, by the way. Just go ahead.
Be more demanding and more commanding and more authoritative to get you to get those high school students or to get the person that he's dealing with to move. He was willing to go to that extent. He was absolutely willing to go to that extent. He wasn't willing to tone back his authority because he cared about your feelings so much. It's like, you know, at a certain point, and I feel this within myself. I've said this to myself, you know, in relationships, be it personal or business. You know, I'm the type, I'll let you drive until you prove to me that you can't drive, that you don't know where we're going. And at that point, I'm not asking you to get out of the driver's seat. You getting out of the driver's seat. It's not even up for debate no more. You get what I'm saying? Because riding with you, we're going to end up in a ditch. And once I come to that conclusion, I'm Joe Clark with it. I'm very demanding with it. And again, all I'm trying to do is fix a situation and solve a problem. I'm not really thinking about your feelings at that point. And sometimes when I handle stuff like that, I know that it can come across as demanding, but what I will do is go back to the person later on and let them know, look, it's not that I'm trying to be demanding or anything. I'm just trying to fix the problem. I'm trying to fix the problem. And right now, you know, I care more about fixing the problem than I do about your feelings. I can fix your feelings later on after we get this problem fixed.
Bars. All right. Majeeda. Mensah, go ahead.
I think that, you know, with things that I genuinely don't want to do because it doesn't feel like it's a part of my authentic self, I will disappear from. Like I will go into, like, I think I really slowly back away, and I'll wait until, you know, they reach out before I go to like find out what it is that they, you know, whatever their wants are. It's like I'll disappear to try to figure out what it is that I'm, you know, prioritize what's important to me, and I'll just stay focused on that and just like ignore the other things to some extent until it becomes, you know, until it becomes somebody's like, tapping on my shoulder, like, this got to happen. Like I will just be like, make it important, you know. Like I'll do that. And so, and a lot of that just it comes with if it doesn't have a plan where I see myself fitting in to do my role, I would be like, I don't know why I'm here. Until you give me some set things that I can go knock out. I'm gonna work on me because I direct my interests and my passion. I'm the superintendent of that, but I'll be the foreman to everybody else's stuff.
I like that. Yo, that could be an episode in itself, like the ultimate foreman. We could dig into that. Get Mensah back for his take on being able to help run a project and, you know, how you can step into that role if that's something that you're naturally good at. All right. I think maybe we could talk about that. I like that. The ultimate foreman. Bring him back for another spot. If you free, Mensah, you know, we're not gonna steal all your time. Boss lady. What about you, Majeeda? What do you feel is or think is most off-putting about you?
Hard.
That right there.
That right there. What was that? Describe that. Y'all catch it? You might have screenshot it.
My emotional detachment.
Ooh.
You talked about it.
All right, yo, we're at an hour and a half right now, but I want to hear this answer. We gotta unpack it for us. What do you mean? Emotional attachment, like detachment?
Emotional attachment. So I tend not to get attached to results, no matter what they are, right? I tend to make decisions. Like, all right, they say everybody makes decisions emotionally and we justify them logically. When it comes to my work, when it comes to my family, when it comes to my goals, like I consider my emotions and my feelings, but at the end of the day, I'm going to make a decision that's based on logic and reason, you know, more so than, right? Like, all right, maybe I'm making a decision emotionally, but I don't allow my feelings to get in the way of getting something done. You know, I don't let my feelings direct how I approach something. So like, you're not gonna throw me off or give me up, right? I'm gonna stay even keel for the most part. So that can be off-putting, you know, maybe in personal relationships, because I care enough about getting the work done. Kind of to Maurice's point, I'm not Joe Clark, right? I don't know the female equivalent of that, but like, I had that in me, and I don't allow her to show up unless she has to. And at the end of the day, it's just really gonna be like, look, let's look at the facts, let's look at the logic, right? This ain't about no pissing contest, right? I told you I worked in construction, so like, it can be like that sometimes. And so
it's midnight. It's midnight. We cool.
I don't try to get into them. Those type of, I'm not gonna win if I'm gonna, and it's not about winning or losing either, but like, that's not my strength. My strength is not being emotional in my decision making. Strength is rationale, reason, logic, because it's hard to combat. You know what I mean? When working in specifically a male-dominated field, like, the perception is that because I'm a woman, I'm emotional. But when I present myself very like matter of fact, it's not off-putting, you know, like, it's just, you can't really contradict, you know, like, you might have a problem with me, but it ain't gonna be because I'm emotional. It's just gonna be because of the fact that you don't like what's coming out of my mouth. You don't like that you're hearing it from me. You can't really debate it, but yeah, I would say my emotional detachment. Like, it ain't personal. It's just business, or it ain't personal. It's just right. It's just about getting work done. You know, even in my personal relationships, even with family members, right? Sometimes like, I can come off a little strong, but it's like, I care enough to be honest with you, and like, set your feelings aside to get the result that we want, you know, because your feelings ain't, you know, to Maurice's point, like, that ain't changing nothing, right? It's fine to feel the way that you feel, and it's fine. It's important to embrace your feelings. Like, I'm not trying to discount people's feelings, but in business, feelings don't really matter. You know,
wow.
My job don't care that, like, my feelings got hurt, you know, when it come down to their bottom line. You know what I mean?
True.
So, but yeah.
Yeah. So for those, I'll just do a quick recap. That Majeeda cannot care about your feelings, and you guys can be okay with that. All right? Can you be okay with that when she does not care about your feelings? Because
I care about their feelings. I'm
not saying that you don't. I'm saying you can not care about their feelings, and they got to be okay with that. Or if it's off-putting, I think being able to direct, or to be able to, you know, address that with you. So no, I appreciate that. Shoot, man, I think there's so many things that can be off-putting about me, because it's something I think about all the time. You know, what attracts me sometimes, you know, being able to read the room, right? Sometimes I come into a room, and like I said, I could be like a supernova and light it up, and it turn people off quickly. Like, okay, who is this person? Like, I'm me, I'm here, what's up? But that doesn't always fit the environment. At the same time, I think sometimes being indirect when I need to be more direct, right? Because I'm trying to tease some, like, I don't mind at times like helping you to the edge for you to see the cliff. You know, I am definitely the type of person who will let you, you know, bump your head. But I realized, like, if I could do something to help, I probably should, you know. And when people find out about me that, you know what, I'll let it go. I can let it go easily. I can let the relationship go. Like, you disappear. Now, I'm the type of person who want to stay connected with any and everybody I come across. At the same time, everybody's not going to get my time and my energy, my attention equally. I'm very selective with the people that I spend the most time with, right? Associations matter. I think last week I said me, myself, and I. Top 3 people I spend time with, right? So understanding that, you know, it's not coming from a place of narcissism, or it's not coming from a place of like, I don't care. It's actually the opposite. You know, I care a whole lot. I care a whole lot about me to be able to spend enough time to do the work on me. And I care enough about you to allow you that room to breathe and to work through with me. You know, if I connect with you on a higher level, we can definitely move at that speed. If, you know, you dragging your feet in the mud or scraping concrete with your toenails or something, you know, I can't. There's only so much that I'm going to do and I'll be willing to do to pull you out of place if you're not putting forth, you know, at least equal effort to move out of that. You know, I'm not gonna spend that much time in the dirt with those who just like playing in the mud, because they don't, you know, they don't see more than that. And I could be very, I'm looking for a good word, but like, it may seem like I'm uncaring or indifferent and impersonal, when in many ways I'm everything but. So just be, you know, find understanding like where I'm coming from, you know, understanding my perspective and point of view, and being able to find that common ground with me. You know, I feel like I do a lot of reaching out, but I don't get as much reaching back. And, you know, understandably so, because people maybe not know where to approach me from. You know, they may see 3 different versions of me, you know, in a matter of minutes, and wondering like, what's happening with this person? Like, is it inconsistency, or like, no, you're just seeing different layers. You're seeing different, it's like walking around a statue. You get different perspectives, and I'm constantly showing all of those different points of views about myself at one time. So you may not know exactly what you're looking at. It takes some time. Like, you got to walk around the sculpture in order to get the full picture. And unless you kind of
now.
Go ahead, Mensah.
So you hopping into my discipline now. It's another hour conversation. We start talking.
Oh yeah. We train discipline. But man, for those that are watching, I see Yvette still on, Majeeda, Artesia, India, man, appreciate you guys for being here, for rocking out with us. Love the comments, love the engagement, man. You know, we'll be back here in 2 weeks. So look forward to that. I don't know what we're gonna be talking about, but I know, you know, if you got value out of tonight's conversation, you got thoughts, questions, you want to connect, definitely share your info with us, and, you know, share this podcast. Right? You think there's value, there's other people in your circle. Maybe you're looking for a family, for a community, for, you know, something like this, where you can begin to continue to grow yourself, to be more authentic, to start telling and showing your story, your journey, and doing it your way. You know, look, Maurice, he's got the pose. I know he's got some final thoughts, so I'm gonna pass the mic. Any last words from everybody? Go ahead, Mo.
Yeah, I don't have really any drop the mic final thoughts this week. Authentic attraction is, you know, being real is important. Being authentic is important. Being real is important. And again, I mean, I'm just piggybacking on what I said earlier. I would rather have a person reject the real me than to accept a representative, or to accept a version of me that's unsustainable, essentially.
Yeah. And I just want to speak to the fact that, like, I don't take for granted, and a lot of people don't necessarily know our history, right? Our 3 of us are siblings. Maurice is married to our sister. So, like, we have a long history. We've known each other all or most of our lives. And it's a blessing to be able to have this type of connection with people that are close to you. Like, I don't know about anybody else, but to be able to have these type of conversations with your siblings, with your brother, is invaluable, you know. And for anybody out there who is looking for a circle, you know, a family, a community that they can connect with, like, we real people, we ain't got it all figured out. We still on this journey, but we're willing to challenge each other. We're willing to help each other to grow. And that in and of itself, to have people around you that are willing to push you to be a better version of yourself, to be a higher, I like what Bakar said, higher quality version of yourself, is definitely important if you want to grow as a person, if you want to become better, if you want to do better, if you want to have more. Like, you need those associations that are going to push you. And Mensah was speaking something about earlier, you know, how you might have advisors or individuals who share information with you. Finding people who've gone a little further down the path than you have yourself is essentially what allows you to believe that it's possible and then figure out a way to get there, you know? So that's my piece. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. I thank y'all for being committed to the process. You know, we've been doing the podcast for just a couple of weeks now, but we've been doing our mastermind group for the last few months. And so committing to that, you know, it ain't easy to invest the time and to do the work, but it's well worth it. I know it's definitely helped me to see a better, more possibilities for myself, and to be encouraged along the way, to feel that you're supported by the people closest to you. And that matters, you know. So thank y'all.
Oh, man, thank you. Blessings on blessings. Once again, this is the SEAR Mastermind Group, SEAR, stands for support, encouragement, accountability, and recognition. You know, like Majeeda said, we're regular people. You know, I'm 34, she older than me, and he younger than me, and
I'm 35.
She 35, Maurice 40, right? You're almost 40, right?
44.
What?
I'll be 45 in October.
No,
I
you
wear
not.
it well. So.
No, 45. That's what I got to look forward to in a decade, bro. This journey gonna be lit. I'm loving it. I
wear it well. So yeah.
Yes, sir.
I got ID the other day in the store when I went to buy some beer. They said, "Give me your ID." I said, "Glad."
I promise you look the same as when you were 18.
Yeah.
The same as when you were 18. Hey, that's how you do it when you take care of yourself. So, hey, looking forward to continuing to build with you all. Thank you all for those who joined in. What's that?
That's our next topic.
What's that?
Health and wealth.
Health and wealth?
Yeah.
I love it. Health and wealth. Yay. I'm excited. So, hey, come back next time. We'll be back in 2 weeks. All right, 2 weeks for the health and wealth conversation, man. I know that's going to get lit. We got financial professionals. We got people who've been in sales, marketing, business, sports play. We got it all here. So, you know, definitely join in, come in. We'll talk about health, wealth, and all of the different conversations. I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited. And if we could find a couple of guests, if you want to be a guest on the podcast, man, shoot one of us a message. You know, if you have something that you want to share, you think you could add some value to the conversation, reach out. All right. And as always, man, peace, love, freedom.
Appreciate y'all for attending tonight.
Thank y'all for being here.
Namaste.
Yes, y'all.
Namaste.
Yeah.